So this, I think, was a great illustration of the bigger picture with which among our culture and our societies, so much is going on behind the scenes that unless you're focused on it, unless you're specifically looking for it, it could be a part of your daily activity and you would never know. And this does not only apply to the way we treat non-human animals. This applies to how we treat other genders, other ethnic groups, other sexual orientation, our environment. It has a wide range of ramifications when you're not looking at the big picture. So again, just keep that in mind. Now, the next slide, I indicate animal rights is not a point that I hope to make. It's not a label I appreciate. I don't find that the title animal rights really captures the essence of the issues. Now, it's not that we want to elevate animals, other animal species, to the same level as humans, right? Non-human animals don't need to have the right to a jury trial. They don't need to have the right to bear arms. They don't need the privileges of driving automobiles and other motor vehicles. That's not really the issue that we're focused on here. What we're wanting to do in the movement, in the animal advocacy realm, is to point out the inherent value, the bodily integrity all other species should have by birthright. It's extending compassion and the rights for others to live their lives for their own reasons and to be a means for their own end. My cats, for instance, don't like to ride in kayaks. They don't like to go dancing at the clubs, and they most certainly don't like popsicles and motorcycles. They like catnip. They like strings. Those are things that my cats enjoy. So we don't have a lot in common, but they have the right to live their lives free from pain and suffering and to be a means to their own end. So I haven't coined a term for what really would encapsulate extending compassion to all other species, but you get my drift. Now, circles of compassion, we each have our own, right? We have our friends, our family, our loved ones, our neighbors, our in-laws, whichever. Our circle of compassion, we each have our own. And there's always the infamous hand-selected companion animals that are dogs and cats. Our infamous best friends, dogs and cats. I have cats as well. And in the circle of compassion, we even incorporate birds and hamsters and hermit crabs and other companion animals, domesticated animals, and even further into that, we appreciate the aesthetic value of wild animals such as squirrels and wolves and polar bears and the eagles. We've incorporated these individuals into the realm of whom we're concerned for and will work to protect. But for some reason, within our culture, again, we have arbitrarily left certain animals out. They're not worthy of our compassion. We will bring dogs and cats into our homes and give them health insurance and toys and ample supplies of food and treats and warmth and little sweaters. But yet we've decided that strategically on the outside of that circle is where cows and ducks and pigs and chickens and turkeys belong. Now, even then, yes, dogs and cats are worthy of compassion, and even some primates and other wild animals are worthy of the human compassion. However, within our culture, within the very fiber of our culture, are many industries that use, abuse, exploit, and torture innocent beings for seemingly needful and useful human benefits. I'm going to introduce you to a brief glimpse of every industry, and with each slide I've provided a link to a website so that you can learn more. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on all the issues, but rather one main industry. But as you're going to be introduced to, there are links to other issues, and some of them are very disturbing, but I do ask that you are aware, because with awareness breeds alternative solutions, compassionate solutions, and you have the capacity to make those compassionate alternative choices. So the first industry is animals and research. Many people don't realize that in today's day there are still an overabundance of animals, and in fact an uncounted number of animals in cages throughout the world being used for animal research for mostly human benefit. But even beyond human benefit, there are issues that we are already well aware of. For instance, cigarette smoking. These beagles are very popular among research animals because they're small and they're easy to handle and they're very docile. Well, they've been pumping animals full of cigarette smoke since as far back as I can remember, to see if it causes cancer. We know it causes cancer. Iams Dog Food is one of the most common companies who uses animals in their research techniques, cramming them in cages and not attending to them with veterinary care. Primates are still very heavily tested upon and even being injected with the HIV virus to see if they'll develop AIDS. In over 35 years, I believe one primate has developed AIDS. The reason they do this is these animals are easy to use. There's no regulations in place to protect them or to ensure that they are safe and well taken care of. Again, you can learn more about this at vivisectioninfo.org. And most of what scientists face in their career is publish or perish. So therein lies the motivation behind using animals in research for cosmetic purposes and household cleaners and so forth.